Jesus gave his friends an invitation and a command. The invitation was, "Come, follow me." And once they had decided to follow him, he commanded them to go and make disciples, essentially to help other people follow him. Jesus was clear. We aren't supposed to stay at one level in our faith. Our spiritual life should be one of constant, deepening intimacy with God, from the day we discover who he is until the day we go to be with him forever, and every day in between.
There's this great story in the Bible about a guy called Zacchaeus. Zacchaeus knows that Jesus is coming to town, but he can't get to see him because the crowd is all around Jesus and Zacchaeus is too short to see. So Zacchaeus decides his next step is to climb a sycamore tree so that he can see Jesus and be closer to him. Now, Jesus doesn't laugh at Zacchaeus or make fun of him for being too short. In fact, Jesus says, "Zacchaeus, come down from that tree because I'm going to come to your house for dinner." Zacchaeus knew what his next step was to get closer to Jesus. But sadly, for too many of us in the church, we're quite happy where we've always been. Just like Zacchaeus, it's important for us, if we're trying to follow after Jesus, to think, what is my next step to get closer to him? Now, it might look different for everybody, but it's our responsibility as a church to show you what your next step could be, to provide you with the opportunities for God to say to you, this is what I want you to do next. This is how I want you to come closer to me.
Many churches disciple their people by accident because they haven't thought through their plan for moving people toward Christ. We don't want that to be the case in our church. Even though everybody's different and every person's growth towards Christ never happens in a straight line, we want to make sure that every person in our church can discover what their next step is in deepening their spiritual life and their relationship with Jesus.
You know, it's hard to get close to somebody in a crowd, whether it's a concert or a festival, or in Zacchaeus' case, the crowd that was surrounding Jesus. Sometimes we just can't bridge that barrier to get greater intimacy. We know from the story of Zacchaeus that when we choose to take a next step and get closer to Jesus, he responds by inviting us into deeper intimacy with him. And that's our heart for every member of our church. Just like Zacchaeus, often we need to take a next step, whatever that looks like for us, so that we can deepen our spirituality and get closer and more intimate with Jesus. So that's why our church has developed our Discipleship Pathway. We know not everyone is the same, but here are a set of steps that might be the very next step that God is asking you to take to develop your relationship with him. We've broken it down into 3 stages. Step 1 is all about coming into faith with Christ, learning about the church, and being a part of the fellowship. Step 2, community, is where you really start to belong. You start to connect with other people, attend a small group, care and be cared for. It's where you stop going to church and start being the church. And the 3rd step, calling. This is where we look at how God has uniquely shaped you with your skills, abilities, spiritual gifts, and experiences. And look at how he may be leading you into deeper service, both in the church and in the world. Each step will happen a few times a year with a group of other people at church who want to learn the same things you do. As we come together and as we seek to find out what our next step is in our relationship with Jesus, our prayer is that this will not just be another activity, but this will truly be the next step towards a deeper faith, a more passionate spirituality, and a more intimate relationship with Jesus.
What's your next step?